Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Art Boss Report. My name is Renuha. I'm here every single week talking about art business, talking about creating the consistent monthly income that allows for us to be living what we like to call the artist life. Don't you wish that it was as easy as just posting your artwork everywhere in social media, having a website that's just super beautiful and the artwork just flies off the shelf? What we're going to be talking about today is what happens and what we can do to create that safety net, create those automations and systems that allow for us when we have an art show that just doesn't close the sales that we need. Maybe the hurricanes come in, or the tornadoes, or the weather, or the rain. Maybe all the promises of marketing and getting people to actually attend the art show don't come true, that the marketers are like, we ran out of money. We just thought we would just see who would stop by on from the side of the road. Or maybe you have scored a really great art show, Laguna Beach, one of those really crazy great ones, but you got the booth next to the generator, or you got the booth next to the band. And when people come in to talk to you, you can't hear them. You guys, we can create the safety nets, and we can create the systems and the tools that allow for us to have the ability to put an event back on track and close the sales that we need. So my friends, you're in the right place. We're going to talk about the Champagne Room and how we can take a derailed art show and get it back on track. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Art Boss Report. Today, we're going to talk about how to take like an art fair or an art show or an online virtual selling event that may not have closed the sales that you wanted to. You did everything right. You showed up, you brought the beautiful artwork. We can have systems and tools that allow for us to take a art show or an art event that like got derailed, not because of our fault, not because of anything we did or didn't do, but simply because life happened, and we can turn it into a selling event that allows for us to close with sales we need to be living the artist's life. So we're going to be talking about, art selling events. They can go off the tracks, right? We can have things happen. Okay. Like raise your hand, say me in the comments, right? You score a really great art show and you look at the weather report and it's just going to be rain all weekend long. And you're going to be sitting in the middle of a field, in the middle of a field somewhere, maybe on a hot concrete somewhere. And the weather, that the weather is going to keep people inside and they're not going to come to your event. Okay. Maybe you've scored a really great event and it's indoors, but because of a hurricane that's coming, because of tornado warnings, because of all the things that can happen out of your control, you're like, oh my goodness, this selling event, I'm spending all the time, I'm bringing my beautiful artwork, I'm setting up my tent, I'm setting up my booth, and it's just going to bust. I know that. Maybe you're sitting inside of a wonderful fair. Maybe you scored one of the big ones. Maybe you scored the Plaza or Laguna, or you scored one of those really great ones. But when it came to the booth that you got, you drew the short straw. You're sitting next to the generator. You're sitting next to a big garbage disposal, right? Or a big green garbage dumpster. Maybe you're right next to the band, which is like great, but no one can hear you when you're trying to talk about your artwork. Okay. Those are just things that happen. We don't have to be like, well, that's it, I'm not selling anything this weekend. We can actually set up our art businesses in a way that allows for us to take a derailed event and get it back on track. Or maybe something we're going to like, oh, this whole weekend was a bust. We can get it back on track. Or what about when life happens? There are just going to be times in our life where our family and friends need more of our attention than our business needs. There are other times in life where our business needs attention. It's what brings us in our monthly income. And so just if you're serious, you take your art serious and you know that you have to give an art business the attention it needs so that you can bring in the income. But there are those times where things happen. Things happen where you're like, I have to dedicate this time to my family or my friends because they need me more than my business does. So, what do we do when that happens? What do we do when life happens? What do we do when a storm comes through, or we get just a bummer booth at a show, or maybe, what about this? We're planning this amazing online event and the internet goes out. Maybe we break Facebook. Maybe we're too active in Facebook right before we go out for a really amazing virtual selling event, a really amazing event, and we break Facebook. What do we do? How can we take a derailed selling event, an art show, an art fair, a virtual online selling event, a artist reception, right? An artist talk. How can we take that and get it back on track? So we're going to be talking about the tools and the systems that you need in order to create that safety net so that you can pre-plan and have things inside of your business that allow for you to pre-plan and have things already set up just for the just in cases, right? Just in case I don't have internet access, just in case I break Facebook, just in case the kids are like get sick and throw up all over me before I go live. I'm going to tell you when I'm sharing with you, I've lived, and I also know that every single one of those things that happen when life happens, we can set up tools that allow for us to have those safety nets and allow for us to take a busted weekend and get it back on track when our launches derail, get them back on track and close 20K the week after, maybe 1 week later, but we can do it. So we're going to talk about, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, allergy season. We're going to be talking about the champagne room, and I'm going to be showing you a behind the scenes what I did to take a busted launch, take a launch that kind of got derailed by, we'll just say it, by a 17-year-old, okay? A 17-year-old who like wasn't supposed to be home from school, but showed up and had to take care of what was going on there. Here's the reality. Those things happen. But I'm going to show you the behind the scenes, exactly how the champagne room allowed for me to get my launch back on track, even though it didn't go exactly as planned. Allow for me to close 20K the week after so that I was able to quickly see what I needed to do. It comes in three forms. We're going to be digging in. We're going to be talking about getting your selling events back on track, whether it's a weather related, right? I have launched and done art shows during hurricanes, super successful. I've done them where literally I broke Facebook, didn't have access to where I needed to be in order to do my live launching. I've also had family emergencies that have derailed events. And we're going to talk about all of them. And we're going to talk about how we can use the champagne room to create that safety net and continue to meet our goals and close those sales. We're going to be doing that in a 1 hour discussion. We're going to be doing that actually in a Zoom room. I want you to have access to be able to ask questions, to be able to see exactly what we need to do before we have our selling event. If something goes crazy beforehand, what we can do to prevent any of the things that might happen, right? Life happens. We are also going to talk about during when you are in a selling event and a hurricane comes through, or you get put next to a really loud stage, or you're sitting going, oh my goodness, okay, I can't commitment in this moment because my family or friends need me more than the business does. Then we're going to talk about how we can activate a plan afterwards that allows for us to see exactly who we need to be talking to and exactly what we need to do in order to get our launch, get our virtual selling event, get our online fair, get our in-person art show back on track. We're going to be doing that next Wednesday. Okay, I'm going to give you the whole scoop. I'm going to show you behind the scenes. I'm going to give you live examples of exactly what I did to get my event back on track right here, launch.karenauha.com/back. Okay. You're going to be able to have access to that private Zoom meeting. And we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about how this tool is that safety net, how the systems and the tools, when we layer them in our business, they can be the difference between like a art fair that has marginal traffic with just a lot of freebie seekers, and take that to the place where you're closing consistently, you're slapping up that sold sign while everybody else is going, how the heck are they selling at this fair, because this fair sucks, right? We're going to show you exactly what you need to be doing. And we're going to talk about the tools and the systems that allow for you to take a derailed launch, a derailed art show, and get it back on track. So please leave any questions or comments below. We'll get back to you. You want to be a part of that discussion next Wednesday. That is September 27th. We're going to be running at 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we usually do the Art Boss Report. We're actually going to be doing the back on track training. I'm going to behind the scenes show you how you get a selling weekend back on track, and it's going to be happening in a Zoom room. So right here, go ahead and click on that link, type it into your browser. It's going to give you the private Zoom room meeting. Okay. Once you're over here, I'm also going to send you reminders so that you don't miss the meeting. And if by chance you're like, I just can't attend during that time, but I would love, love, love to be a part of it, pop on over here and I'll be sending out the replay to anyone who wants it. We'll see you guys soon. You have a great rest of your week. I'm super stoked. Next week is going to be an amazing discussion in a Zoom room, and we're going to talk about how create that safety net and we get our selling events back on track when life happens.